Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi, Barakatuh. Insha'Allah, we are together in lesson number 10 in this recording, and we are going to start a new chapter, and that is the Noon Sukun rules. So let us start. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim wa bis-salah ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What is the Noon Sukun rules? We already took the Sokoon, right? And the Sokoon is the silent letters. And today we are saying the Noon Sukun, meaning that the Noon, the silent Noon, has its own rules. So let us see what we mean by that. This is the Noon Sukun. The Noon Sukun, we do not have any Sukun sign on it. So when we say Sukun, it's either having this Sukun sign, which we all knew in lesson number 8, or it will have no sign attached to it, like this one. There's no Fatha, no Kasra, no Dhamma, not even a Sukun sign. Now, if I find a Noon Sukun, both are called Sukun, by the way, whether it has a Sukun sign or whether it doesn't have any sign attached, both of them are called Sukun Noon. And Sukun means silent because there's no movement attached to it. How am I going to pronounce it? I know how to pronounce any letter with a Fatha, Kasra, Dhamma, even the Noon, if it has a Fatha, if it has a movement, I will pronounce it Na, Ni, Nu, Nan, Nin, Nun with a Tanween. Even the Shadda, I learned how to pronounce it. But what about this Noon that has nothing attached to it, which is called a Noon Sukun? How do I pronounce it? And here we are going to say a rule. To pronounce this Noon Sukun, the way of pronouncing it depends on the letter that comes after it. Yes, it has a connection with the letters that comes after the Noon Sukun. And always remember, we start from right to left. So the letter that is after the Noon Sukun is the letter to the left. The letter that comes after the Noon Sukun depends on it, my pronunciation. How is that? Let us see the rules of the Noon Sukun pronunciation. First of all, we have 6 letters and they are called the throat letters because these 6 letters are pronounced from the throat. These 6 letters, if they came after the Noon Sukun, I am going to pronounce the Noon Sukun properly. We are going to have more details later. So these 6 letters, if they came after the Noon Sukun, I'm going to pronounce the Noon properly, and you will find on the Noon the Sukun sign, which we learned in lesson number 8. Okay, what are these letters? They are the Hamza, Ha, Ainun, Ha, Ghainun, Kha. And all these 6 letters are pronounced from the throat. Remember when we took the practical part of how do I know where is the makhraj, where is the exit of this letter? I put it into Sukun state and I use a Hamza Fatha before it. So if I want to know where the Ghain is pronounced from, I will say Al, Al, and push the Ghain, and you will see and you will feel exactly where the Ghain is pronounced from. If I want to know the Ha, I'll make a Hamza Fatha, pronounce a Hamza Fatha, and the Ha Sukun. Ah. You will feel the friction of the ha in the middle part of the throat. What about the kha? Akh, akh. What about the ayn? Ah, ah. I expect that you are saying after me, okay? What about the ha? Ah, deep inside the throat. And what about the hamza? Ah, ah. So the furthermost part of the throat, we pronounce the hamza and the ha, and then the middle part of the throat comes the ayn and the ha, and then the closest part of the throat towards the lips is the ghain and the kha. Those 6 throat letters, if they came after the Noon Sukun, I'm gonna pronounce a Noon Sukun properly. Okay, so let us have some exercises and then we go back to the rules. This is rule number 1, and this rule is called Izhar. Izhar means to show. I'm gonna show the noon, okay? And let us see what are the examples that we have here. This noon did not have any sukun on top of it, and because of the ha that came after it, we have a sukun on top of it. Because this sukun, if it's written on any of the letters, this means that this letter has izhar, meaning I'm gonna show this letter. I'm gonna pronounce this letter properly. Remember when we took the sukun letters? Now the Noon Sukun, which character does the Noon Sukun belong to? Is it a hard letter where the exit totally closes and terminates the sound? Or is it one of the letters that has this soft character? Or is it one of the in-between letters? Yes, it's one of the in-between letters. So when we read the Noon Sukun, we give it the time required until the sound of the noon that is produced from the nasal ends, is finished, okay? So we say yen, yen. We don't say yen, yen. Keep your tongue where it is until the sound in the nasal is totally complete. Yen, and then we have how, na, yen, how, na. This one is a soft, has a soft character. The wow has a soft character. Okay, so this word, yen, how, na. What about this one? It's a Noon Sukun, after it a letter ha. Same reason, because of the ha that came after the noon, then it is Izhar. I'm gonna show the noon, I'm gonna pronounce it properly. Because the ha is one of the letters of Izhar, it's one of the letters of the throat, so this is why I will be able to pronounce the noon properly. Yanhauna anhu, anhu. Let's continue. We have a waw fatha, wa. So this is one word, yanhauna. And this is another word, anhu. And then wa, yan, wa, yan. And then here we have aw, na, wa, yan, aw, na. And then again, anhu. Let's read this ayah. ينهون عنه وينأون عنه. Okay, so if the noon came after it, the Noon Sukun came after it, a ha or a hamza, like in this case we have a hamza after the Noon Sukun. If it's a hamza or a ha or any of the throat letters, I'm gonna pronounce the Noon Sukun and this is why we can see the Sokoon sign above the Noon. Okay, let's move further. Here we have a Tanween, and the Tanween is a Noon Sukun. Remember when we talked about the Tanween? We said it's a Noon Sukun, but it's not written a Noon Sukun. It's pronounced a Noon Sukun, but it's written an extra movement. So here we are going to pronounce the Qaf kasratin. Here we have an elevated letter, Gha, Siqin, Qin. I want to show you something. Can you see this tanween, those kasratin? See how they look like? They are exactly under each other. What about those kasratin? You see? They are tilted. So here, when you find those kasratin exactly the same length and are exactly above each other, this means this is Izhar. I'm going to show the tanween. I'm going to pronounce the tanween. Why is that? Because one of the letters of Izhar came after it. So we will say Ghasiqin idha. Again, Ghasiqin idha. Let's have a look here. We have a Noon Sukun. Why do we have this Sukun sign above the Noon? Because one of the letters of the throat came after it, which is the Ain. We have a Ain here, one of the throat letters. So I'm going to pronounce the Noon properly. What about the Mim? Whenever you find this Sukun sign above any letter, this means this letter is Izhar. Means I'm going to pronounce this letter. Yes. So this Mim is Izhar. I'm going to pronounce it. So we say An'amta, An'amta. These two letters belong to the in-between characters. So give it some time until the sound of the nasal ends. An'amta. Let's move forward. Here we have a Mim Kasra. What about this Shadda? We are not going to do anything about it because we don't pronounce a Sukun letter at the beginning of my reading. I just pronounce a Mim Kasra. What about this Noon Sukun? Yes, when I find a Sukun above the Noon, I am positive that one of the 6 letters of Izhar came after the Noon. So here we can find the letter Ha. So it's Min Ha. And then we have a Kaf Kasra, Ya Sukun. This is an elongating letter. Ki, 2 counts. Ki, Min Haki. And then we have a Tanween. And remember what I mentioned here regarding the Qaf Kasratin. It is written exactly in the same way. Min. The 2 signs, the 2 kasras are exactly above each other, not tilted, and they show that this tanween is Izhar. I'm going to pronounce this tanween properly. And when I say we're going to pronounce this tanween properly, I mean we're going to pronounce the Noon Sukun. Okay? So it's Hakimin. What about this tanween? I'm not going to pronounce it as a Noon Sukun. But you know something, because we don't have the word that comes after it, so we are going to pronounce it as a Sukun Dal, because I'm going to stop here my reading. And when we stop on a Sukun. Min Hakimin Hamid. The Dal Sukun has a qalqala. Again, Min Hakimin Hamid. What about this one? We have lam shadda alif and before it hamza kasra. Illa. Remember when we said regarding the lam shadda, don't use your nasal to pronounce it. Illa. And then min. Why do we have this sukoon sign above the noon? Because the ghain came after it, and the ghain is one of the letters of izhar. So I'm gonna show the noon sukun. Illa min. And then we have a sin sukun here, and the sin sukun has the soft character, meaning I'm gonna push the sin and allow it to flow. Ghislin. Ghislin. And the noon sukun also has this in-between character. Let us move to the last example that we have here. We have a kha sukun, and the kha belongs to the, yes, soft character. And it's an elevated letter. What about the tanween here? It's izhar. I'm gonna show the noon sukun. Why? Because one of the letters of the throat is after the tanween, came after the tanween, which is the letter kha. So here, nakhlin khawiyah or khawiyatin, but I'm not gonna pronounce the tanween. So what do? When I stop on a sukun. This ta at the end of the word, when I stop on it, it's pronounced a ha. Remember, we mentioned this before. So, nakhlin khawiyah. Okay. So this was regarding the first rule of the noon sukun. So whenever you find a noon with a sukun on top of it, you are sure that one of the 6 letters of the throat came after the noon, and this is the reason why we find this sukun sign. And if I find the tanween written like this, then this means that this is izhar. I'm gonna show the noon sukun, and one of the letters of the throat came after it. Okay, I hope insha'Allah that this rule is understood, and I also hope that this video or this lesson was of benefit to you and you're learning towards reading the Quran in a better way. Thank you so much for your attendance and your attention. I'm really honored to have you with me in this channel. And if you find this video of benefit to you, share it with others to share the knowledge. Subscribe if you're interested to receive the videos as soon as they are published. Press like, and I'll see you insha'Allah in the next recording. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.